Sinking driveway, settling patio, collapsing stoop, uneven pool deck. It's a fact. Concrete problems don't get better with time, but they do get better when you call APS.
It's the afternoon edition of the Daily Weather Briefing video. I'm James Spann. This is for Thursday, the 7th of July. Alabama's weather, hot, humid, got a few storms about. I think you know we're going to say that. We do think the heat levels begin to come down this weekend and especially noticeable next week. Still hot and humid, but not as hot. Let's begin as we typically do with the upper air look across the country today. This is 500 millibars, about 18,000 feet off the ground. And again, it's the same setup. We've got the ridge here, jet stream on top of the heat ridge, where most of the active rain-producing systems are found today. Here's the visible satellite view, and you can see it's a partly to mostly sunny day across the state. Got a field of cumulus clouds, and so far the bulk of the convection today, the thunderstorms, over the Tennessee Valley of North Alabama. The shoals back over toward Huntsville and Scottsboro. Also a few scattered showers over Mobile and Baldwin counties. The central counties are relatively dry. We'll check heat levels around 2 o'clock. We've got mostly mid-90s. As advertised today, Birmingham at 96, Tuscaloosa 95, Anniston 94. Around the region, looks like the winner of the heat parade is Memphis. They have managed to reach 100 this afternoon. Here's a look at all of the heat advisories in effect. We've got them in effect for most of Alabama except for the southeastern corner. But again, understand if you're in Dothan and Enterprise and Abbeville, it's hot there too. And a few counties up in the Tennessee Valley under an excessive heat warning. The counties in purple, but thankfully with those storms developing, heat levels are coming down there this afternoon. And around the region, you can see the heat advisories extend from Texas, Oklahoma, and Kansas over to the Atlantic coast. But again, next week, the heat begins to shift off to the west, and that's good news for us. Here's the severe weather outlook for the rest of today and tonight. We've got a risk extending into Alabama. We have a level 2 out of 5 slight risk over the northeastern corner of the state, where, quite frankly, strong storms are in progress now over counties like Jackson, Madison, and parts of DeKalb. We've got a marginal risk over to Russellville, Birmingham, and Phoenix City. And the main risk on summer days, not tornadoes, but strong localized areas of straight-line winds. Those are called wet microbursts. We could see some of those around today. This is tomorrow. Again, parts of the state with a marginal risk. That marginal risk kind of includes the eastern side of the state, about the eastern half of the state. And it's the same thing, the main threat coming from stronger straight-line winds. And then on day 3, which is Saturday, all 67 Alabama counties in a marginal risk. That's level 1 out of level 5. Not raining everywhere. Understand that when you see these risk maps here. But when the storms do form, they could pack a punch with a chance of strong winds. And then on day 4, which is Sunday, a risk way up north, parts of Minnesota, the Dakotas, and Wisconsin. Here's the rain for the next 7 days, and every day we'll have storms around on an average basis, the amounts between 1/2 and 3 inches across the state. But again, your number will vary. In the tropics, things still awfully quiet today. This is the 2-day outlook coming from the National Hurricane Center. And the 5-day outlook, things going to stay quiet right on through the weekend. No sign of any tropical trouble for the next 5 to 7 days. So really we'll focus on the upper air maps. I did this morning, showing these synoptic scale surface maps aren't much help this time of the year. This tells the story. This is, again, about 18,000 feet off the ground tomorrow. The GFS valid at 4, model fans. And again, we've got the ridge in place, so things won't change much tomorrow. Mid-90s, partly sunny, a few pop-up storms. But let's go out a week, and you can see the change in the upper air pattern. That intense upper high is centered far to the west, north of Denver. And our friends out there will have blistering heat. But here, the heights are coming down. We might see a number of days next week with highs only in the mid to upper 80s. We'll certainly take that. In fact, we'll go out 10 days. This is Sunday, the 17th of July. Same thing, the heat ridge centered north and west of the state. And understand still, it's going to be hot and muggy, highs around 90, but again, nothing excessive for this time of the year. You don't want that big upper high sitting on top of you for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, and we don't think that will happen. Check the rain for Birmingham. This is coming off the GFS, and the mean is the green line. And you can see it's about 3 inches between now and the 22nd of July. Now the numbers coming off the NBM, the National Blend of Models. Mid-90s tomorrow and Saturday, 90 on Sunday, and then next week you can see highs most days between 87 and 90. It's pretty manageable for this time of the year and below average. And speaking of that, this is the new 8 to 14-day outlook just in. This is for July 15th through July 21st, showing temperatures a little, perhaps below average here, above average off to the west. So again, the pattern looks a little more favorable for us over the latter half of July, but still, we all know it's hot and muggy this time of the year. The weather simply doesn't change a lot. So that is it for the afternoon edition of the weather briefing video. We do these weekdays for me early in the morning, about 5:30 and about 2:30 or so in the afternoon. We have notes over on the blog. That's alabamawx.com. And if you can, join us this evening on ABC 3340 News at 4, 5, 6, and 10 o'clock. Thanks for watching. Have a great evening, and God bless.
Sagging, bouncing, or uneven floors? Call Alabama Professional Services. Standing water or high humidity? Call APS. Nasty odors or dangerous mold? Call APS. Critters, bugs, or other pests? That's right, call APS. It's a fact. Crawl space problems don't get better with time, but they do get better when you call APS. Call Alabama Professional Services today.